So here's what he talks about in here. He says the heart is deceitfully wicked, and then he goes around and talks about God will reward you according to your conduct. If your heart is wrong, your conduct is going to reflect your heart. Are you following what I'm saying? And so that denial issue even affects your heart, the condition of your heart, as well as your conduct. Let's move on. On page 64. Man, I really get a lot out of that. On page 64, he talks about the consequences of denial. And what happened in the Bible aspect of Peter, we know about Peter denied Christ. Are you following what I'm saying? When they came for him, I tell you what, there are some people that's going to come for you. And it may not be some people around that you think, how many, you know, there's some people, and I hate to be the one to tell you this, man. There are going to be some people going to come from you. And I tell you what, I talk about it in my book. Believe it or not, there's a chapter on there. Your wife may turn her back on you. It may not happen, but maybe rightfully so for some of the stuff we did. Are you following what I'm saying? But there are tragic, realistic consequences when people, how many guys here have expected somebody to have their back and they wasn't there when you turned around? You knew, they told you, man, when everything was good, the money was flowing, everything was hunky-dory, la-di-da-di. But when the heat came, are you following? Or when situations went topsy-turvy, you looked around and they was gone. And a lot of us talk about heart conditions. We still ain't got over that. Anybody understand what I'm saying? Them grudges and what happened, we still ain't got over that. So here's one of the things in terms of the issue of denial. By not dealing with reality, you too can have that effect on people that's dependent on you. You want to break that cycle. Are you understanding what I'm saying, man? You want to be there when your kids need you. You want to be there. When your wife depending on you, you want to be there. When your employer's depending on you to be at work, you want to be there. Just think about the people that turn their back on you. Somebody's got to break the cycle. Me, and it's on you to do that right now. Now let's read that. While Peter was what? There are consequences, man, repercussions in operating in denial in an illusionary type of fashion. Not realistically seeing things for what they actually are. Read that. While Peter was what, man?
The power of deny is illustrated in the Bible.
We're going to go down. We're going straight to the power passage. Thank you, brother.
Okay, go ahead.
We with you. While Peter in the shaded dark area.
Below in the country yard, one of the servants saw Peter warming himself. You also will wait the Nazareth Jesus. She said, but he denied, and went into the entryway. When the servant saw him there, he said again to those standing around, this fellow is one of them. He began to call down curses of himself and swore. Immediately the rooster crowed and the heat broke down and went.
And so what does that mean in terms of the next sentence down there, practical application? How does that apply to us? Let's read
When we fear the consequence of telling the truth, we are inclining to the lie.
Hey man, I want to deal with this one. You remember this? Oh wait, this is good. Peter denied when he could have jumped in. I want to say he caused it, but of course we know now we can look back on it and know the word of God, he didn't cause it. But your denial can cause somebody not only to go to the penitentiary, but your denial can actually cause somebody to die. Are you following? Now that's deep. You follow what I'm saying? Peter denied Christ. Christ went to the cross. Now we know he came to shed his blood as the Lamb of God for us, to cleanse us, purge us, and purify. But I want to go with where we at right now. If you deny the truthful circumstances of you in terms of impacting your home, your community, your job, it can have catastrophic, if not mortal consequences. Are you following what I'm saying? However, just as with Christ, when Peter denied Christ, it all worked out for the good. Are you following what I'm saying? Because, as we said before, there's only one power. One authority, right? One authority, right?
No.
And that authority, when we talk about it, he's in control of everything. But make no mistake about it, man, your denial can be the ruin. Bless you, brother. Your denial can be the ruin of people that are closely associated with you. Are you following what I'm saying? They asked Peter 3 times, man. Tell the truth.
One, 3.
3 times. Now, how many times have we stuck with our lie, man? You know what, man? That's my story, and I'm sticking to
hands, my legs.
You know? Hey, man, you better ask somebody else. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
When you expect something, you lie, or you'll give it up.
But from the power, I want to give you the power in terms of understanding that there are benefits on the other side of doing the right thing for the right reason. But there are people that are seriously hurt because we refuse to see the light and the truth and realistically see things for what they really are. Are you following what I'm saying? Now let's go down to the next one. We talk about types of denial, various aspects of types of denial, and there are.
Yeah, Mr. Watkins, sometimes you telling the truth with the people right now when you lie and you pass too much, and he's no thinking he's true when you say that.
Most definitely. And here's the thing: as I said, there are a lot of consequences that you don't see now that denial actually sets in place, or put rippling effects that it put in place. It's like, you know what? Anybody ever, when you throw a stone and you see the waves in the water, you don't know where it's going to stop. I mean, that's a good bet. You want to throw this rock and hit that? How many ways? Nobody going to take that bet, man. Who's going to take that bet? Nobody. And that's how denial is, man. It starts a wave of adverse effects that nobody knows what it is going to be. But here's what we want: different types of denial. One of them is on page 64. We call it pretending. And what is this pretending aspect? No, it's simple denial. Simple denial is just pretending something isn't when it really is. Now we want to, because we don't have a lot of time, I'm just scratching the surface. The next one is minimizing. Another aspect of denial. Again, that's acknowledging the problem but refusing the severity of it. Then we got blame. What's up with blame in terms of denial? That's recognizing the problem but shifting the blame to somebody else. If you had done what you would have did, then I wouldn't have to be confronted with it. Shifting it. Instead of embracing it. Excuses, alibis, you know what? Justifying it. I was looking now for the bigger picture or something. You know how we can get pretty crafty. The other one is generalizing, another form of denial. That's recognizing, yeah, but it ain't that bad. It's generally speaking, we can kind of work this out. In spite of the consequences that it's caused, on your job, yeah, I'm late, but it ain't really that bad.
You talking about me?
Yeah, it's going to be all right, man. And then we want to go to attacking. How about this one? When all else fails, say it again. Say it again. You think you got one problem now? You say it one more time, you're going to have another. Anybody else, don't nobody understand what I'm talking about that one, huh? Yeah. Ain't nobody ever, nobody ever say you got one more time to say that. And you're wrong. Mm-hmm. You're wrong. So that's that other one, man, attacking. So denial is really, and as I said, that's why I call denial that Superman complex. You put on that Superman outfit because you ain't got to deal with none of this stuff. I'm above it, that's you. You deal with that. But once you take that Superman outfit of denial off, that S off your chest, that D off your chest, denial off your chest, you got to deal with these issues, man. Squarely, forthrightly, honestly. Okay? Now, let's go down to the next one. If anyone thinks what? Who wants to read that one for me, brother? Somebody that haven't read.
If anyone thinks he is something when he is nothing, he deceives himself. Each one should test his own actions. Then he can take pride in himself without comparing himself to somebody else. For each one should carry his own load.
Mm-hmm. Let's go down to the practical application of that one. How does that apply to us? Our pride is what? Right beneath it. Right beneath it.
Our pride can limit our capacity to be honest and is critically element in making our searching and fearless moral inventory.
I know y'all thought that was really nothing there, but I'm about to hit you with this one. How about this one when comparing yourselves with somebody else? Instead of looking at you for what you really are. And here's the deal. How many guys have said this? Why are you coming to me like that when in fact you let such and such get away with it? Huh? Don't nobody remember that one? Why you take it out? Then we really get wound up in it. We ready to roll there. Why you taking out your frustration and your anxieties out on me? Are you scared of him? How many guys remember that?
That's the clinic, huh?
You know what I'm saying? Or here's another one. Why should I listen to you when he didn't have to listen to you? Now it's really out of control. Are you follow what I'm saying? Or men. Y'all ready for this one? You treated me like you wanted to treat your other husband. And you need to understand that I ain't him. Now that really gets wild. How many guys know about that one? or your other boyfriend. How many guys
Right.
Hey man, come on man, y'all got your hands down like y'all are Mr. Understanding, which is cool. But here's what I'm trying to say. In terms of this issue right here, comparing yourselves, we need to look at what our conduct is and how we're responding, right? How it affects the person that we're dealing with. Are you following what I'm saying? But as we said, in terms of we make a searching and fearless moral inventory. We keeping it real, keeping it with us. Are you following what I'm saying, man? It can really get, and I went to the extreme because, as I said before about Christ and denial, this thing about denying it and comparing ourselves with other people can ruin marriages, can ruin jobs. You know what I'm saying? I heard somebody say that, you know, comparing yourself, bless you, with other people on the job, it leads to no good. When the man talking to you, even if somebody else did get away with it, he talking to you, man. You got to respond. You got to address that. Are you following what I'm saying? So let's move on. We talk about personal inventory. It's similar to cleaning out a closet and examining the stock. And then it says it's best that we do it as we do. We do it a little bit at a time and get the whole job done. How many guys can realize you're cleaning out the garage and you're moving out real fast before you know, man, this is too much, man. I ain't doing this.
You're not getting nothing.
You away from that altogether. So it's best to have a plan in terms of doing this inventory, making a search. Do a little bit at a time. You'll get the whole job done. You start out fast and you run out of gas. But here's what he says: as you're doing this inventory situation and you're operating in the mechanics of step number 4, it says it can trigger memories. Memories, you know, they can bring back things that have happened to you and you can get an attitude. So it says we're doing this inventory as of just a means of looking back on the past. We're not trying to relive the past or live in the past. We're just reflecting on some things that have happened in our lives in terms of doing this searching and fearless moral inventory. And then actually we're looking towards the future. And then it just gives us a better insight to some of our weaknesses and some of our conduct that resulted from our fears and the weaknesses in terms of us responding properly outside of denying what was going on. Read the next one. Let us examine what? Who wants to read that? Somebody read that one.
Let us examine our ways and test them, and let us return to the Lord.
Okay.
Personal examination of our lives will give us insight into the ways in which we have turned away from God and become self-destructive.
I kind of like that. Now check this out. If you remember, the one we were just examining was we was comparing ourselves with somebody else. Did you remember that one we just talked about? Now what we're doing is we're examining ourselves, and the dude to your right or to your left, he got the same problem you got. What can he do to help you out? Are you following what I'm saying? But he says now, instead of us looking at another brother and saying, you know what, maybe the staff let him get away with it and the staff didn't let you get away with it, that other man ain't your problem. Now what you need to do is, he said, let's look at ourselves and return to the Lord, who has the power to give us the ability to deal with this guy that we feel as though is unjustifiably targeting us. Anybody understand what I'm saying? You know, we lose our focus of, you know, it ain't about the other guy. It's about us dealing with that situation, recognizing how we're being affected and impacted by it, and we return it to where the real power is. And when that guy see us, that we're talking about that got away with it, when he see how you man up and you deal with it, you're probably the example that he needs to see where his attitude and conduct gonna change. Are you following what I'm saying? Instead of being part of the problem, you're really you've really, in a clever way, have become part of the solution, and you become to operate in the power that God has actually given to you because you acknowledge that power is there. Anybody understand what I'm trying to say? He said, let us return. What? Man, why am I going to cry on your shoulders? There's not very much that you can do for me at this particular point. You follow what I'm saying? But some of us can take that to the extreme where we don't open up and talk to each other neither. So there has to be a balance where me and we here, we gotta chop it up and discuss it and feel free to talk about, open up just a little bit. You open up in here, you'll be able to do it out there.